All right, let's jump right into this explainer and unpack what is honestly one of the most massive, sweeping, epic narratives ever recorded in the Philippines. We're talking about the Hinilawod. This isn't just some simple, everyday folktale. It is a sprawling, multi-generational saga absolutely packed with divine beings, catastrophic, earth-shattering battles, and some really profound cultural lessons about pre-colonial Panay.
So to really get a sense of the sheer scale of this mythological world, we're going to start right in the thick of it. Picture this, 3 extraordinarily powerful siblings going up against a terrifying ancient threat. The entire Hinilawod Epic is built on these intense rivalries, and it's this central explosive conflict that essentially sets their whole world on fire.
Section 1. The Heroes of the Hollywood River.
Okay, so let's meet these legendary brothers, born to an eastern sky deity. We have Labaw Donggon, Humadapnon, and Dumalapdap. And you have to understand, these weren't your generic run-of-the-mill fantasy warriors. If you look into historical records from that era, you get a clear picture of this pre-colonial elite. Think heavy, intricate gold jewelry, incredibly rich textiles, and beautifully crafted ancient Visayan weaponry. These 3 brothers are the absolute foundational pillars of the epic, driving the whole narrative forward through their relentless, non-stop quests across different realms. Now, this story is so immense that to even begin to digest it, we actually have to split it into 2 main cycles, following the wildly different paths of the eldest and the middle brother. The first cycle focuses on the eldest, Labaw Donggon, and it's heavily centered around his romantic exploits as he travels all over to claim these beautiful maidens. But then, the story shifts gears completely. The Humadapnon cycle takes us on this dark, intense journey filled with 7-year-long magical trials and crazy underworld rescues. And get this, these brothers literally didn't even have a childhood. They were demigods born completely ready for war. The very moment they entered the world, they could already speak, they had this unbelievable physical strength, and they immediately demanded to set sail. They were decked out in magic suits and guided by these highly powerful supernatural spirit friends. Talk about hitting the ground running. Section 2. Sarganayan, the Dark Demigod. Of course, you can't have legendary heroes without a truly overwhelming villain, right? Enter Saranyan, the Keeper of Light. He's the ultimate roadblock for the eldest brother, but he's not just some mindless beast. Saranyan is a highly intelligent, aristocratic dark demigod, and he commands absolute dread. With coal-black skin, glowing red eyes, boar-like tusks, and dark ceremonial regalia, he's the perfect archetype of a mythic tyrant. So, the eldest brother, Labaw Donggon, actually fights this Dark Lord for years. At one point, he literally submerges Sarganayan in water for 7 years and beats him with coconut trunks until the Dark Lord's body turns thread-like. But here is the crazy part. Sarganayan's immortality holds. He completely exhausts the hero, outlasts him, and ultimately imprisons the weakened, maddened demigod right underneath a pig pen. Yeah, a pig pen.
Section 3. The ultimate epic clash.
Obviously, the defeat of the eldest brother doesn't sit well with his family. It triggers this massive, chaotic retaliation led by his incredibly powerful sons. When they find out about their dad's humiliating imprisonment, they hop on a magical boat armed to the teeth. And what's brilliant about this is how it treats magical combat like a giant puzzle. Brute force already failed, right? So the sons rely on spirit guides and discover that Sarganayan's life force is actually hidden away inside a specific wild boar. They have to slay the beast, consume its heart, and only then does the Dark Lord become mortal enough to finally be taken down by a poisoned arrow. Meanwhile, the middle brother, Humadapnon, is dealing with his own absolute nightmare. He ends up trapped for 7 long years by these bewitching maidens in a cave. These were secluded, noble women of immense beauty and magical power, and they completely immobilized him. He was completely stuck until his cunning wife disguised herself as a male warrior just to avoid the social embarrassment of the woman being rescued, and broke the spell to liberate her.
Section 4. Discovering the Chants of Panay. Now you might be wondering, how do we even know all the incredibly specific details of this story today? Well, back in the 1950s, people were actually telling anthropologist Dr. F. Landa Jacano that the Philippines had no indigenous literature. He completely refused to believe it. He trekked deep into the mountains, determined to find proof. And by 1956 and 1957, he found it. He discovered local shamans who held these massive, wildly complex epics entirely in their memories. It's truly mind-blowing to think about the exact moment this sat down with a mountain Babalan, an epic chanter named Humadapnon. Over the course of 3 weeks, she chanted for a staggering 30 hours straight into his borrowed magnetic tape recorder. She preserved the dying archaic Karaya language right then and there. Without that specific expedition, this entire masterpiece of oral literature would likely have vanished into thin air.
Section 5. Myths as Mirrors of Reality. So why does all this matter for us today? Because mythology is never just random fiction. It's a mirror reflecting a culture's actual reality. When we cross-reference the Hinilawod with history, it lines up perfectly. Those golden boats and epic sea journeys, they map directly onto the real-world maritime networks and Balangai ships of the ancient Poseidons. The seven-headed snake monsters echo the Hindu-Buddhist trade influences of the time. And the magical golden armor is a direct reflection of the heavily traded pre-colonial gold jewelry they actually used as status symbols.
You see, the epic wasn't just weekend entertainment, it was a moral compass for the community. The stories taught listeners about honoring their family, the intricate rules of complex courtship and dowries, and the intense loyalty expected between siblings. Crucially, it also highlighted a society where women, specifically the female deities and the shamans known as Babalans, wielded immense social, political, and spiritual power. When you listen to the translations of these chants, you can almost feel the mesmerizing, hypnotic rhythm that captivated audiences around a fire centuries ago. The chanters used a really cool poetic trick called semantic parallelism. Basically, they carefully pair lines using different words that meant the exact same thing, creating this deep musical trance. It's exactly the kind of rhythm the maidens in the story used to trap the heroes. Today, those fragile tapes from the 1950s are finally being digitized, ensuring that this incredible pre-colonial masterpiece survives for future generations. But honestly, it leaves us with such a fascinating question. If just 30 hours of chanting can reveal this rich, vibrant, and complex ancient universe, what other secrets are still out there? How many other worlds are just waiting for us to stop, sit down, and listen? Keep exploring, keep questioning, and I'll see you in the next Explainer.
There are more epics that are still out there to explore. Durangan, Hudhud, Ulali, Ibagi, Agu, Sligai, Bantayan, Ingdon, Nagayan, Dagor. Follow, subscribe, and comment for more. BayaniMade.com